Welcome back to Arcane Answers. I'm your host, Lare, and joined with me, as always, are the mysterious Amanda and Sarah.
Ooh,
And
mysterious.
I feel so
yeah,
fancy.
how are you ladies doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Today is going to be another unique episode as we will be interviewing Twila. And Twila is joining us here to talk about witches and witchcraft. And so, without further ado, let's get into it. How are you doing today, Twila?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. So we had a couple of prepared questions. I'm going to let Amanda and Sarah take the first ones here because they had some interest in what you do and who you are. So I'm going to give you some time up top to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think probably the first question on all of our minds is how did you come to find witchcraft?
I grew up in a very small town that had kind of a like cottage core style feel to it. And there was a sudden influx of pagans who had moved into it as I was probably my late childhood years, going into double digits. So I found out about it through just like neighborhood conversations, some festivals that were held for Beltane and a couple of the other Sabbats. And just the fact that I didn't feel really comfortable with the monotheistic path.
That's understandable.
We're in good company here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So in the small town, then did you work alone or did you join a coven?
Throughout the years, I've had people that I've kind of partnered up with, but I never really got involved in a coven. That's actually not something that most pagans do.
That's one of
Okay.
the questions we had was like the flavor of witchcraft. So you're more on the pagan side rather than like the Wicca or, you know, standard witch science.
Yeah, so Hollywood tried to bring more awareness and popularity to the concept of witchcraft. But the person who was really headlining all of that, most of their knowledge was in more of the Wiccan practices,
Hmm.
in my opinion. So, in addition to that, they were trying to find a way that would make the idea of paganism and witchcraft more comfortable with some of the more concerned monotheistic population. So they chose a path that has a lot of rules and directed concepts versus something that's more independent and whimsical because they felt that it would be easier to grasp. It's kind of like not all pagans are Wiccan,
Hmm.
not all Christians are Baptist. Does that make sense? But it does kind of flip around the other way. So it is an important part of paganism. There are a lot of people who really need that extra direction. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
that's the
yeah,
same
no.
with pretty much any sort of group of religions where you're going to have a spectrum of
Like subsets.
well, of their like how much authority they feel like they need. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay.
Like a lot there's like
Yeah.
that need for hierarchy that some people
Hmm.
have, and some people don't really like have that. So that makes sense.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a priest or priestess class, that kind of a thing. I
Mhm.
mean, like with anything, there's a million paths to get where you're going. And if you're going one road, it's not better than the next, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So for your practice, what are, if any, I mean, what are some of the deities that you would sort of identify with or worship, I guess?
So one of the deities that I identify with is Loki because my life is very chaotic. And this started before the Marvel franchise
Oh,
movies.
Of
wow.
course.
There was a big boom in interest in Loki after those movies. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of lore and history written down. So it's kind of a discover on your own style path.
I mean, outside of the poetic Eddas.
Yes. And even within the poetic Eddas, Loki is not mentioned as often as many of the other deities.
Hmm.
He's like a side note. Or at least it kind of feels like that to me.
The times that he's in it are pretty impactful, though. I mean, everything from Schleppnir to like the binding under the Yggdrasil is pretty impacting.
No, it is. It's just more of the smaller details, the offerings, or his favorite things, or the preferences and levels of morality for more of the everyday concepts. They're not necessarily clear.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more, I'm not saying he's not impactful and he's not known. He definitely made a dent in everything. But when it comes to everyday, it's just more self-guided.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Interesting.
I see what you're saying. Like a lot of other deities, like from Greek, Roman, all of those, they have special things that they want from you, where you're saying or outlined for you to give as tribute. But like this one doesn't really have that.
It's kind of the prescribed offerings versus trying to figure it out.
Yeah, a bit. And there's definitely the humor component within it all. Cause like I will just struggle with something for a prolonged period of time. And then after a while, I'll just stop and be like, really? Like, I will slow down if you stop tormenting me. And I have autoimmune disorder. So I feel like slowing down is something that I get regular reminders of when it comes to deity work or energy work.
Oh.
Because I tend to want to go very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably shouldn't.
So you say energy work, do you mean like Reiki or other things?
I work with and manipulate the energies around me. So I communicate a little bit with intention toward the Fae in my area, as well as like I do a lot of shadow work and working with my own energies and my shadow self. I tap into the energies of my ancestors, especially during this time of year. I do a lot of divination reading, things like that.
What sort of
So-
divination?
That's a good question.
So, what sort of divination do you do as far like tarot or like I don't know? There's like there. I don't know all the types. Like I'm not very familiar with that actually. Now that you say that, I just realized I don't know how many different types of divination there are.
No, I only know like
That's
maybe
okay.
3.
Which 3 do you know?
That'd be pendulum work, tarot cards, like dowsing rods, Ouija boards, whatever.
Tea read.
Anything.
Okay.
Yeah, tea
Yeah.
leaves. That's a good one.
Tea leaves. So there is scrying,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is sort of energy work that works with like mirrors and reflective surfaces. There's the dowsing rods. I do work with pendulums and tarot and oracle cards. Ouija boards are fun, but you have to be kind of safe about it.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful. Don't forget to end the conversation. There is divination work that you can do with smoke or fire or water
Or eggs.
or eggs. Yes, there is some divination work with eggs. From what I can tell, it's kind of limited versus some of the other options, but that's okay.
How does that work? Does anybody know?
We need to know more about this egg
We
divination.
have chickens. I need to know if I'm missing out on something here.
So you take a glass of water and you break an egg into, you like drop the egg, the yolk, and the whites into the water, and how it settles will tell you something. This is not a form of divination that I necessarily work with, so I don't have any of that memorized, but I'm sure there's lots of information online. If I am remembering correctly, it is more of the simpler forms of divination, the yes, no, negative, positive.
Oh.
It might be something really fun to try out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know terribly much about it either. I mean, I know like a few other divinations as well, like apple peels. That's a fun party game. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, you throw it over your shoulder and the shape of the letter that it forms is going to be the person that you love or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a variant of that one. I heard it had to do with how many times you twist the apple to remove the stem would be the letter
Yeah,
or the
Yeah,
initials.
I forgot about that
Oh,
in
me too.
childhood.
yeah, that's right. Oh man, that's right up there with MASH.
Yeah.
People named Zach.
90s kids.
So, what sort of, other than Beltane, what are some of the holidays that you find important?
My favorite is Samhain,
Okay.
which is more
Fair enough.
popularly known as Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of spelled Samhain,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
a lot of people mispronounce it. The ambience of it all. I'm definitely an autumn person. I love the coloring and the trees and how everything's kind of starting to go into that rest before the winter slumber. And the breeze kicks up and just it really helps with all of that divination energy work as well. I feel more myself during this time. And it also gives me a chance to perform the dumb dinner and hear from those who have passed and try to learn a little bit more about what directions I can go in doing what I'm already doing or possibly trying something new. And when I do that, I tend to use my tarot cards. I'll think of a question and then I'll pull tarot cards and try to get the answers and the readings from the room.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
I just heard a phrase I've never heard before. What is the dumb dinner?
So, dumb refers to the original meaning for the word, meaning deaf and mute. So, you're not talking, you're not making noise, you're not having your typical family dinner. It's candlelight. There's an empty place setting for those who are visiting from the other side. And you're just connecting and listening and remembering. And it's really nice, actually.
Do you do this practice every year?
Yeah. I've been doing it for a few years now. Last year, actually, I found out that someone had passed before it was announced because of the dumb dinner.
Hmm.
And it felt really weird because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why do I feel like this person's here? They're alive. And then I found out 2 days later they were not alive.
Wow.
Interesting. So I want to take you back to one more thing you said. Now, you said shadow work. Now, is that like Jungian shadow work or is it something that just borrows the same name?
Oh, is it like what?
Jungian, Carl Jung.
Oh, it's probably very similar. It is, those self-help journals that you're starting to see all over like TikTok and everything. They're gaining a lot of popularity, guided journaling and kind of tackling your traumas and your negativities.
I'm
Yes.
afraid. Well, TikTok passed me by, but apparently not them.
Well, I've had one for years that I've done work in.
So, shadow work guides you toward learning about your shadow self, the parts of you that you don't like, the parts of you whose needs you don't necessarily want to meet, the part of you that you don't want to necessarily acknowledge in public, so that you can become more comfortable with yourself. Because if you are guarding yourself from half of who you are, you cannot be confident and strong and powerful and connected. You can take all of these things you consider to be flaws and they can become strengths. Or as you learn more about what you consider to be a flaw, you might find that it is not what you thought it was at all. So it's like self-guided therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of in line with some of his philosophy. So That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's all the questions I have. I was excited just to have somebody on who actually is a practitioner, and that in itself is great that you were able to come here and do that, because we don't practice any of this stuff. I mean, we research it, we look at it, but we don't like, I don't think we have a lot of practitioners in our lives, I'll say.
Yeah, we're kind of tourists in various subjects. Like we're dabblers of
Yes.
information, but not of, I guess, participants in a lot of the things that we look at. So it's really, really interesting to have somebody who has that firsthand practice and experience. I guess I do have a question though. So what would be one thing that you would want people to know about paganism and witchcraft and how it could like pertain to their lives?
Well, one of the things I would say is paganism, spirituality, and witchcraft are 3 separate things. A lot of the Eastern disciplines, they live a more spiritual lifestyle. They're kind of guided, but it's not the same as religion. It's more open and flexible, and it's more inner processes versus how we see a lot of religions developing over here. Witchcraft is a craft. It is the act of doing something with an intention. Blowing out birthday candles is craft. Knocking on wood was part of the craft.
Throwing spilled salt over your shoulder.
Sure,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
good-
Yeah.
That's a good one. That was for protection against the negative energies that would be behind you. And to sway others who might have been talking behind your back to stop.
I need to throw salt more often.
I just get hit in the face with some Mortons. I'm like, ouch, Sarah.
Some pagans are secular. They don't worship deities at all. And they might not even know much about the different Sabbats because they don't celebrate them. And some pagans have a polytheistic approach that's either guided in exact steps or it's eclectic, and they pull from all of these different belief systems and kind of make it fit their own lifestyle. And some of them are like me, and it's more lifestyle based, but if a situation calls for it, I may call to a deity that would be related to that thing, but I don't have like a ongoing daily relationship that people would have like in church on Sundays.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that seems common in like a polytheistic religion where you pick one god that is kind of your favorite or speaks to your class. Like Nordic religions, I mean, Thor was more of the working class god. You know, in Rome, you'd pick one of their gods, and that was your patron god, essentially. The other
Yeah.
ones existed, but that was the one that you went for. So I get that. I get that mentality.
Also, magic doesn't need to be complicated. There are a lot of people I see on Facebook groups for beginners that are asking all these complicated questions about which ingredients to get for this specific type of working, and it's not as necessary as people think it is. It's more intention based.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. Our ancestors did not have the ability to order something off Amazon.
Right.
Like, they kind of worked with what they had,
Yeah.
and it still happened.
Yeah.
I like to think of it like if I were into magic, I would definitely want like spell books, because like I like recipes. I know that if I put these ingredients together, I'm going to get bread. Like that
Yeah.
to me makes sense. Like it follows a logical path, right? So like
Yeah.
I would definitely want something to be like, all right, you take some rosemary, you throw it in some oil, and you light a candle that's this particular color and kill a cat or whatever. And
No.
Nobody's killing
No, no.
cats.
I'm just saying,
Why are you like this, Larry?
I'm just saying that, like,
Wait, they got 9 lives. It's fine.
Or so.
I'm just borrowing one.
No, not really. No.
well, killing cats is a lot in like the lesser keys, so that's where I'm coming from with that.
Oh,
Right.
But so, like, like, I get that. Like, I see the appeal of wanting that, where you're like the more ethereal approach of just like do whatever as long as you mean it, and then if
Mhm.
things happen, then you got results. But then can you replicate those results by doing the same thing again, and then you are making that spell book.
Yes, but I would argue that you could take those recipes and that spell, and instead of using the black candle, you could just use a candle that feels right. Instead of using this particular scent, you could use a different one that you feel more comfortable with, because the greater your level of resonance is with what you're working with and what you're doing, the stronger the outcome will be.
so almost an intuitive magic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too, actually.
We're a
just
lot
like
more
go
chaotic
with.
over here.
Yeah, you're a little more structured, Larry. You've got
Yeah.
I do, but I like the idea of just like going with the flow. You're like, hey man, this makes me feel good. Keep doing it. That kind of thing.
Yeah, just swap the rosemary and thyme. It's fine.
I've made some pretty good soups that way too. Just I don't have dessert, but I bet this will be delicious.
I was thinking about
It was
chicken.
made with love and whatever random things I had in my cabinet.
Absolutely.
That is some of the best meals sometimes, seriously.
It is.
Dude, you gotta live more.
Come on, Larry.
Throw random things in a pot. You gotta try it out more.
I'm a recipe guy.
All right.
Just eeny, meeny, miny, mo those candles.
Unless it's
Yeah, there
stew.
you go.
And then anything goes in a stew.
Everything goes in a stew.
Yeah.
Because
If you guys have access, you could totally just like go to his kitchen and remove all the labels off the cans.
oh my
Oh,
god.
that would be funny.
Also, his wife would probably be very angry at me. I love her,
Yeah,
but
probably.
she would be like, Amanda! I could already hear her voice. Like,
Okay,
throwing
well then
something
leave
at
like a paper with a code on it and then just give it to her.
right. Like, listen, Annie, here's it. Here we go. Oh,
Here's what they are, but don't tell.
yeah.
And this is when Larry stopped cooking altogether.
Also, I'm not allowed to come up and visit anymore.
Okay. Well,
Uh-huh.
maybe not that far then.
What else,
Yeah.
guys?
I don't know. You've been reading my mind
I know
the
I'm
entire
really-
time.
What happens when we like sit 3 feet from each other?
I think I may have gotten the lesser keys wrong, but that's okay. I can't let things like that go. Like, I'm like, was that in that or was that killing a cock? But, it's all fine.
We've reached the part where he's now going over what he's going to edit in his brain already.
Oh my.
It's true.
All the corrections he's adding.
Like,
Yeah.
hold on.
I'm like, wait a second. I said that with confidence, but did I mean it? I'm like, I know I got that from one of these books that I have, but I can't think of which. It might have been Simon's Necromonicon for all I know. This is the problem with reading too many occult books is they all kind of just mumbo jumbo your head and like you're like, what was that from?
Most things do that to me.
Yeah. It's pretty common, I think.
We live in a world of way too much information.
Oh,
And sometimes it's more difficult to differentiate good information from like quality information from non-quality information. And so sometimes it's easy to get so cluttered up in all of the crap that it makes it difficult to like remember and prioritize the things that actually are meaningful and accurate.
Yeah, I think that's where intuition both is a freeing agent and also like a condemning one, because like if you just go with what feels good, you may be going with bad information.
Oh, is that why you're such a recipe person?
That might be.
Because listen, I'm not afraid to make some mistakes. I've thrown out entire pots of things that were not delicious.
Same.
I will give this though one thickening agent rather than using cornstarch. Use instant mashed potatoes. It's just better.
Yeah, we've done that.
No,
No,
I disagree. The cornstarch does not have a whole bunch of extra added stuff in it.
yeah, but it's still tasty.
Like, oh, we have some leftover mashed potatoes. Just chuck those in there.
I believe it was after Thanksgiving, and I'm pretty sure it was into turkey soup.
Oh, it was so
Ooh.
good.
Good.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
I forgot it was the Thanksgiving pot. We just basically threw all the leftovers
Yeah.
minus like cranberry sauce
I think
in
we
there.
ran out of cornstarch, and we were like, "What are we going to use to thicken it?" And you're like, "We have mashed potatoes."
You like, do you put a bay leaf in there? Like the solitary bay leaf that does nothing except you're told not to eat it?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone puts bay leaf in soup. Nobody knows what
Ah,
it does,
witchcraft.
but it just adds ambiance.
I agree. I think it is witchcraft. They're like, yeah, man, you got to put a bay leaf in there.
It is because it would provide blessings for you. Yes, you're just bringing positivity and blessings into that food, which used to be a regular practice.
With her today. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have. And we will be back next month with maybe something spooky. We'll find out. Until then, bye.